Let's begin by taking a look at the accounting equation. Some of you may have encountered this, and when accountants talk about it, it can be very, very complicated. But here it is. Essentially, what equals who? Now you may think, geez, that seems very, very simple. The world is filled with stuff. And we want to know who is involved with that stuff. Accountants have a fancy word for stuff. It is assets. So we have assets, and we want to know who has claim to those assets. There are actually two different types of claims. For instance, if I'm taking a look at the assets of my company, there are other people's claims and my claims. Other people's claims also has a fancy word. It's called liabilities. So assets equal liabilities plus my claims. Remember, liabilities are other people's claims. We also have a more technical word for claims. They are called equities. So assets equal liabilities plus I'll call myself the owner, owner's equity. For some of you, that might sound familiar. That is the formal accounting equation. Assets equal liabilities plus owner's equity. But many students never get past trying to figure out that formula. Essentially what it is what equals who. You can imagine that this is just two different ways of looking at the same thing. In fact, instead of calling it an equation, it's really an equivalency. And that's the mathematical symbol for equivalency. It's looking at the same thing from two different places. For instance, my hand, you see 5 fingerprints. If I flip it over, you see 5 fingernails. If you didn't see 5 fingernails, something would be wrong. It is simply looking at the same thing, but from a different viewpoint. So when you take a look at assets equal liabilities plus owner's equity, you're essentially taking a look at what it is that we have involved, and who has claim to those assets. This is the foundation of accounting. And I hope that I have made it easy for you to understand what it is about by taking a look at what equals who. And you will see that this balances. Balance is a very important word in accounting. For instance, if I show you 5 fingerprints and then 5 fingernails, if it were 5 fingerprints and 3 fingernails, we would know that something was wrong. So we are always in balance. It's always physically true that we are in balance because we're taking a look at what and who.